Justin Trudeau, Canada. Oh, and we had the fabulous Ian Crossan on. Ian, say hi to Ezra. I know you're very familiar with him from Timcast. But I'm telling you, tell us about the current.
Great to see you again.
Tell us the current state of affairs in Canada right now. I mean, isn't it kind of dystopic that, every single person that parked their car in Canada now is on some sort of list and they go and take all their cryptocurrency? I mean, it's almost kind of like a dystopian nightmare.
To get serious for a minute, what you're saying is actually true. When you think about what did the truckers do? There was no violence at all. They didn't riot. They didn't have any firearms. They just honked their horns and they parked on the street past the time limit for parking. They literally committed no crime other than a parking violation. And in fact, when a judge ordered them to stop honking, they stopped honking. Imagine a tyrant who would throw a country under martial law for that. And you mentioned seizing their bank accounts and seizing crypto accounts. On what basis? How did they come up with the list of the first 200 people on the list? They just Googled different names of people they saw in the media. There wasn't even a police investigation. It was whoever the media said was out there. They contacted the banks and said, seize their account. There was no legal process. I mean, I wish there was a funny angle to it, but it's not. That really happened in Canada. I mean, that's not far away in Venezuela or someplace like that. That's your neighbors to the north.
No, and let's be honest. I mean, this sounds kind of anecdotal, but everybody in Canada is supposedly nice. But now I get the vibe that people in Canada are kind of mean. Is the I guess how we kind of have the Americanized version of Canada, or kind of like the South Park version. We think everybody's Canadian and funny and goofy, and some of the best comedians are from Canada. But now I don't feel like they're as lighthearted anymore. It seems like Canada is not the comedy happy mecca that it kind of used to give off the impression of being.
I've had the pleasure of traveling to a lot of different places in America, and I think Americans are among the friendliest people in the world.
Oh, wow.
I mean, they just are, especially different regions. I mean, the South, they're famous for their hospitality, for example. Canadians have always had a self-righteousness. Oh, we're nicer than Americans. We're better than Americans. Yep. I think that's a smugness, not niceness. And I think the mask fell a little bit. I'm not saying Canadians aren't nice people. There's a lot of nice Canadians. But the mask fell a bit. It slipped, and we saw the true nature. It's a kind of gaslighting. Here's what I mean. Justin Trudeau said he's a civil libertarian. He's the Liberal Party, after all.
Yeah.
But he brought in martial law that we didn't even use during 9/11. Trudeau says he's a male feminist, but he admitted he sexually assaulted a woman named Rose Knight in Creston, BC. Trudeau says he's, for harmony between the races, and he'll call you racist, but he dressed up in blackface so often, he said he lost count of how many times. And that wasn't just something he did as a teenager. He did it in his teens, his 20s, and his 30s. Like it was his go-to gag. He had like a tickle trunk with the gear in there. Like he did blackface so often, he had like a kit that he would bring out for special occasions. So he's the master of gaslighting. So that goes to your point. Are Canadians nice? Well, Trudeau pretends he's nice and polite company, but underneath it, he's a bit of a bully.
I'm so fly, I'm aligned with the planes. My grind so refined, I got no time for no games. Ask yourself